Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the Virtual Island Summit 2023. Thank you so much for joining this session. My name is Thais Maciel, and I am the Communications Director at Island Innovation. I am based in Santa Catarina Island, Brazil, so good morning to everyone who already said hello in the chat. And I am very happy to be co-presenting this session titled How OTEC Can Transform the Power Generation on Tropical Islands. This session is sponsored by OTEC. And before we begin, I would love to invite you for this poll. We want to know where you are connecting from. So please answer this very quick question here. Where are you from? Are you from Europe, North America, South or Central America? Please, let's see. We want to see where you're connecting from. You can also use the chat to communicate with other attendees. And if you have any questions for our speakers or moderators, please use the Q&A box that appear for you. I'll give you a few minutes to answer the question, and you will see. I see already people in the chat. Let me see. Wow, New Zealand. We have Austria and Timor-Leste. Wow. Bermuda, London, UK, Cape Verde. Cool. This is awesome. Jamaica. Where else? Let me see. Spain, St. Martin, Faroe Islands, India, Oslo, Mauritius. That's impressive. Nigeria, Mexico. Wow. We have many regions represented today. This is awesome. Okay, let's see the results. So most of us today are from Europe, and then we have North America as the second region represented. No, actually it's the Caribbean, I'm sorry. Most of you work on the private section. Interesting. And the industry that is the most represented today is the environmental services or oceans conservation. This is very interesting. So please make sure you use the chat to connect with each other. You can share your LinkedIn profile. You can follow Island Innovation on Instagram. I'm gonna add the name for you there. And as I said before, please use the Q&A box if you have any questions for our moderator or speakers. So now I'm gonna hand over to our moderator today, Ana Brito Melo. She's a senior advisor at WAVEC. Ana, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are. We saw that there are many regions attending this webinar. So welcome to this webinar session. I'm very pleased to be moderated for this event. Before we start, I just would like to take a moment to mention our sponsor. So this session is sponsored by OTEC, which is a pan-European consortium funded through Horizon Europe. This consortium aims to demonstrate novel designs in materials for OTEC, and it brings together a diverse group of partners, including global OTEC, and all committed to advancing OTEC technology. So we appreciate your participation, and we look forward to an interesting session. So let's get started. I will start introducing our distinguished speaker, our keynote speaker, the Honorable Otis Morris. So Minister Morris serves as the Ministry of Home Affairs, Transportation, Broadcasting, Energy Utilities, and the Telecommunications Commission for the Turks and Caicos Islands government. So Minister Morris, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning. Just give me 1 second. Hello, good morning. Just give me 1 second.
Minister Morris, when you are muted. So I kindly ask you to unmute and show your video.
Okay, I am ready.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yes, good morning, everyone. Thanks for allowing me to be able to speak to you guys today and present the challenges faced in the energy security in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And also to express the benefits the potential benefits that OTEC will be for the islands. And it's good morning again, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. I am honored to be here today to address a topic of immense significance for both our global community and the well-being of islands across the world, especially my home islands of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Energy security is a paramount concern in the modern world, as it directly impacts our economy's stability, national security, and environmental sustainability. Islands in particular face unique challenges when it comes to energy security. Islands are often dependent on expensive fossil fuels, leading to a high energy costs and exposure to supply disruptions. Moreover, the dependency on fossil fuels contributes to greenhouse gases emissions, worsen climate change, and the associated risks of rising sea levels and extreme weather events. This is what we are faced here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Energy security is a critical issue for the Turks and Caicos Islands, which relies heavily on imported fossil fuels for its energy needs. It is no secret that we in the Turks and Caicos Islands, just as many other countries in the region, struggle with the higher than normal cost of energy. This is very concerning to the government as we see how it impacts the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Despite our challenges, we are blessed with unique and abundant natural resources that we have the potential to revolutionize our energy landscape. The Turks and Caicos Islands do not have mineral resources such as gold, copper, oil, natural gas, etc. But we do have, as we like to proudly say, sun, sand, and sea. Therefore, the potential to harness energy from the sun and ocean provides promising avenues to increase energy security and lower the cost of energy in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The government is committed to this cause and has deemed this a priority area. We are open to exploring energy technologies that can help us address these challenges by evaluating its feasibility and effectiveness to implement in the islands. Right now, the government is heavily focused on renewable energy initiatives surrounding solar energy, particularly solar PVs. However, we are not closed off to exploring other avenues such as ocean thermal energy conversions, or OTEC as it's called. As you may be aware, the concept of OTEC harness the temperature difference between the warm surface water and the cold deep ocean water to generate electricity. This technology offers several compelling benefits, especially for islands. Two key benefits are clean and renewable energy. OTEC is clean, renewable. Is a clean, renewable energy source that produces no greenhouse gas emissions. This makes it a sustainable solution for islands looking to reduce their carbon footprint and combat climate change. Number two, energy independence. By tapping into the vast energy potential of the ocean, islands can reduce their dependence on fossil fuels. This not only enhances energy security, but also stabilizes the energy costs. However, we are also mindful that OTEC is still a new technology, and while the potential of OTEC remains promising, it is not yet proven and established, especially in the Caribbean islands. Therefore, the government's interest remains at an exploratory level. We are thankful to have had the global OTEC team visit the Toxicase Islands earlier this year to explore OTEC potentials for the islands in a pre-feasibility activity. While not yet determined, we plan to keep OTEC on our radar as we advance our work in the energy space to improve energy security and alleviate the energy burden that is affecting so many Toxicase Islanders. In conclusion, energy security remains a pressing issue for the Toxicase Islands, as well as many other nations, and OTEC represents a promising future solution to address this challenge. Its potential benefits make it a compelling option for consideration. However, it is essential to navigate the associated challenges throughout thoughtfully and collaboratively to ensure a sustainable and prosperous energy future for islands. Together, we can work towards a brighter, more secure, and more sustainable future for the island communities and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to present to you this morning, and I hope that my presentation will shed some light on the issues here in the Toxicase Islands and issues that maybe similar issues that has been faced in other island nations throughout the region and the entire world. And once again, thank you, and I will be here sitting, and any questions or whatsoever, I will be here to answer.
Thank you, Minister Morris. Your insights on the challenges associated with the energy dependence on fossil fuels and the importance of promoting policies to enhance energy security was much appreciated. We will now move forward to the second speaker. We will hear from Paula Bastos. Paula is an economic and environmental impacts researcher at OTEC. Paula, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna, for the brief introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who is joining this panel. I will share my screen, just a minute. Hope you are seeing my screen correctly. I'm happy to be here with you to bring some insights on how OTEC can transform the power generation on tropical islands. I'm Paula Bastos, a researcher at OTEC Offshore Renewables and also part of the OTEC project team. Firstly, just a brief introduction of the basis of OTEC's operation. Ocean thermal energy conversion is a renewable energy technology that takes advantage from the natural temperature difference of ocean water, basically driven a Rankine cycle with the heat from the surface of the water and the cold from the depths of the ocean, producing clean electricity and reducing the requirement for fossil fuels sources. In addition to the main objective of producing clean energy, when considering islands where the resources are even more valuable, OTEC technology also addresses the efficient use of space, reducing land use, and with the potential to expand its application through the integration with desalination plants to provide fresh water. With that, such projects hold the potential to reshape the energy landscape, particularly in tropical islands, and pave the way for a cleaner and more resilient future. As is well known, one of the most pressing challenges faced by many tropical islands is energy security. Very often reliant on imported fossil fuels. These islands are vulnerable to global oil price fluctuations, which directly impact electricity costs and distribution. In addition, tropical islands are often susceptible to power outages, especially during extreme weather events. As it consider the cascading effect it can have on hospitals, schools, businesses, and the overall economy of these islands, bringing development implications. In this way, ensuring reliable and cost-efficient electricity can foster economic growth and improve the quality of life for local communities. Furthermore, the benefits of OTEC extend far beyond energy security. According to some studies, islands may emit fewer greenhouse gases globally, but their per capita emissions are impressively high, very correlated to fossil fuel reliance. So, as from an environmental perspective, OTEC can play a meaningful role in reducing emissions, aligning with global efforts to combat climate change and preserving resources and human health. But you may be questioning why a technology with great potential that has been understudied for so many years is taking so long to be implemented on larger scale. Despite OTEC has been explored for many years, this technology is still in a lower maturity level for commercial deployment. To develop the necessary infrastructure, the technical challenges such as material durability, system efficiency, and reliability for deep waters and harsh environments must be overcome. As a consequence, this project requires substantial initial capital investment, making financing and risk assessment also a challenge. Additionally, when considering small islands, developing states, it can be even more sensible to political, economic, and financial stability factors, and so increasing the project risk. As for marine renewable energy type of technologies, the prototype phase is known as one of the most critical stages of market entry. So currently, OTEC progress is limited by the innovation valley of death, where smaller pre-commercial plants are not commercially attractive, but demonstration of results are needed to convince investors that technology is bankable enough to be able to commit on performance and the availability of the power plants. But findings from previous studies on levelized cost of energy estimate that OTEC technology is currently not ready to compete in the energy market. But considering the high prices of electricity in islands, OTEC emerged again as an alternative to traditional power generation. So when comparing OTEC economic competitiveness to other energy technologies, it can be noticed that large-scale systems hold potential to become competitive. But to scale up to such sizes, experience must be gained with smaller and less economic plants. However, due to the lack of commercial scale deployment and available and accurate data for cost estimates within national or global boundaries, cost reduction mechanisms such as learning effects are barely explored. For a capital-intense technology as OTEC, cost reductions via cumulative learning process are crucial. So assessing better operational data based on prototypes, analyzing different scenarios to study the interaction of economics and technology development, and considering proper learning effects will provide further insights of the OTEC's economics. And at this preliminary stage, aspects such as risks, costs, environmental and social impacts needs to be addressed as early as possible in development strategies to raise market interest. But for OTEC bankability, a combination of secure financing, risk management, revenue certainty, and supportive regulatory environments are required. So it's crucial to explore mechanisms to make the project bankable, stimulating confidence, mitigating possible transmission interruptions with an appropriate regulatory framework. So long-term power purchase agreements play a pivotal role in providing confidence to investors and ensuring the financial viability of OTEC projects. And the perspective of achieving cost competitiveness with OTEC, along with the potential advantages it offers beyond electricity generation, should inspire further exploration of this potential and transformative technology to provide affordable and clean energy to tropical islands. So thank you for listening.
It was a very comprehensive presentation explaining the principles of OTEC and the benefits. We will now, just to let our participants know that at the end we will have the time for questions. So now we move to the third speaker. So we will hear Satyabama Tirugnana, the director of University Technology Malaysian OTEC's division. I believe her expertise in this field will provide us with valuable perspectives. Satyabama, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. And I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate James and his team on the Virtual Island Summit 2023, and we are known that this is the 5th anniversary. So congratulations to the team and also to the sponsor, PLOTEC. I think that it's Dan and his team of the Global OTEC. Yeah, congratulations for having this bringing marine renewable energy and also OTEC today in particular from my perspective. So allow me to share my slides. Okay, I hope that you can see my screen. I'll minimize this. Okay, thank you very much once again. And today we've been thinking and been asked the question, how OTEC can transform the power generation in tropical islands. Yeah? So my straightforward answer would be, as highlighted here, let me use my pointer. Okay, on the tropical islands, also the tropics in general, Malaysia is located in the tropics. So OTEC is a solution for, I used to put here carbon net zero and so on, but then when I really look into the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, having an OTEC plant will solve actually all the 17 SDGs. Yeah, so that is another topic that we will cover next. So I'm Satyabama Tirugnana from UTM Ocean Thermal Energy Center. Yeah? And I would like to, this is UTM OTEC logo, and acknowledge our counterpart, the Institute of Ocean Energy, Saga University, Japan. So in brief, today we'll just have a look at what are marine renewable energies and the differences in between the OTEC and also the hybrid OTEC that we are trying to do some research on as of now. Then the potential for OTEC near the equator, specifically in Malaysia. So that example can, suit other islands, tropical islands, and so on. And then if at all we are having an 10 megawatt commercial OTEC plant, what can we look forward to, and some way forward, yeah. As we come from the University Technology Malaysia, as I come from there, so education and quality of education is something that we really, emphasize on. So looking at this, the marine REs, it's many of you already aware. So just as a go, by the Ocean Energy Systems Technology Collaboration Program under the IEA, which is under the UN. So using ocean as the medium of energy. So that includes tidal and current, ocean thermal energy, salinity gradient, and waves. And today I would like to specifically talk, or our center is specifically working on ocean thermal energy conversion, or OTEC. All right. So some of the demo OTEC plant in the world, which we are already aware of, especially in our association that we have on OTEC and so on. But just a touch on that is that, 2013, the Okinawa Kumijima 100 kilowatt, because the earlier speaker did mention going across the Valley of Death. Yeah, why aren't we having a huge commercial OTEC plant yet? All these are still in a demo scale, 100 kilowatt. And then 2015 in Hawaii, 105 kilowatt. Then in 2021, Prof. Kim from Korea and his team, they design and develop the 1 megawatt, which was supposed to be brought to the Kiribati Pacific Islands for testing and so on. But due to the pandemic, there was some delay, and I hear that they are running short of budget, to send it or to do the 1 megawatt validation confirmation. So at the ocean in the Korea, they could only confirm up to 350 kilowatt or so, if I'm mistaken. So then, of course, in the Japan, many activities after having the benefits of experiencing and really seeing the benefits from this 100 kilowatt, this island, Kumijima itself, put lots of advocation and promotion, which people really believe. Yeah, seeing is believing. You see, so believe in whatever benefits, and the Ministry of in the Japan, the Ministry of Defense and so on, putting more effort on the feasibility study, and securing budget for enlarging the intake facility and so on for 1 megawatt OTEC. So it's still so we see some benefits potential there. Yeah? So that's why people are investing, especially developed nations like Japan and so on. Okay, so that being said, there further we go. Recently, 2022, they also embark on some projects. Funded by the Japanese government, the NATO, and industries, Zenesis and Mitsui, MOL, OSK lines, having another project, but this time in the Mauritius island, to see the feasibility study again for a 1 megawatt scale. Yeah, why that is there? Because of the benefits that they've already seen for themselves in the Kumijima, the 100 kilowatt. All right, so bringing that in perspective and highlighting that. Here, I would like to also highlight our Ocean Thermal Energy Association that we have, and we welcome all the members here. If you are interested in OTEC, do join us. It's still free, to join. Yeah, I know many of our viewers and also panelists are already members. All right, so this already been highlighted by the earlier speaker about the principle of OTEC, closed cycle. So we are aware already that the technology, which is already there for 100 over years, whereby a stable power supply 24/7 can be supplied. It's a closed cycle. And then the profound R&D or education, research that we emphasize on are the heat exchangers, making more advanced and also higher in net power generation. So why we are doing that is because to really have some kind of financial, to reduce the financial implication and so on. As highlighted earlier, the capital investment is huge, you see. So in the R&D, we focus mainly on cost reduction and so on. Yeah, and also of course carbon footprint and the others. So and the main component in an OTEC is the heat exchanger, so the evaporators, condensers, and so on. So how can we make it much more financially beneficial to the people? Yeah. So then the working fluid to date, as of now, we are still using ammonia. However, there are some studies that we have incorporated on nanofluids and so on. Yeah, that's another set of discussion in another time. So that brings us, let's assume that we have an OTEC plant. So we always emphasize for OTEC to be commercially viable, sustainable. There are spin-off industries that's required. So being said, having an OTEC floating plant, just visualizing that intake of the surface seawater and the deep sea water. Yeah, we can of course generate with the Rankine cycle, in the closed cycle, we can generate electricity, and that electricity, of course, it can go to the grid. However, when it's floating and it's far from the land, then we may also want to produce green hydrogen, because OTEC is already a marine RE, renewable energy, so you can produce green hydrogen through electrolysis process and so on. All right. Then, from the post OTEC water, the surface sea water and the deep sea water, if we are, able to desalinate it, we can also use it for potable water. Because I think in Malaysia, we are, due to the climate crisis, some states are having issues of water, which we didn't have it down the road. I mean, like 5 years ago, we didn't really have it, but lately it's coming. So definitely, in other islands, in the greater continents such as Africa and so on, water is still an issue, right? So that can be, we can combat that issue. Okay, so not limited to energy issues, and having an OTEC plant, access to clean water, food supplies, rare earth mining, seawater air conditioning, if at all, we have data centers. This is just an example. Of course, hotels and so on can be done too. And many more can be explored and need to be explored. Why? Especially to have a sustainable OTEC plant. And this is an example from Prof. Ikegami and from the Kumejima plant itself. So many benefits are there. All right. So we trying to bring that model of the Kumejima and trying to see what can be done, for the planet, for the people of in Malaysia. In Malaysia. So of course you cannot really copy and paste it. So we are trying to localize. SDGs and all the frameworks has to be localized. So that is very, very crucial and vital for islands also, I believe. Go down grassroots and getting to the people. What do we want to have in our circular economy? So somebody saw this and said that, oh, this is a circular economy. Then I realized, yes, it is. So having an OTEC, energy, water and food, security can be overcome. We can overcome. So then brings me to explain a little bit about our project that is happening now. So this project is under the Science and Technology Research Partnership for Sustainable Development program, is called SATREPS, and funded by the Japanese government and Malaysian government, and many institutions are there. Because we are from higher tertiary education hub, you see. So many institutions are there, and also some industry partners to materialize, to bring to the commercial level. So that is very, very important to have them on board from the beginning. So 5 years, we started 2019, and about 2 more years to go. And what is it about? So I did show Rankine cycle or the closed cycle earlier, and this is the difference between the closed cycle and the hybrid OTEC system or the cycle. All right, whereby one side produces electricity, the closed cycle side, and the open cycle side produces desalinated water. So first in the world, it is very small, of course, R&D, for student education and researchers to develop and see what can be improvised, enhanced, in the technology of OTEC, mainly to bring down the cost, of course, bearing in mind that the capex is huge, you see, for OTEC. So the small things that we can do, which will be beneficial eventually for the people. So technological novelty must be there, and what is it? It's actually the hybrid heat exchanger that's been highlighted highlighted here. Yeah, can't really go much into the details. Please do contact me if you need to know more. Yeah, and then this of course it's been designed and developed by the Institute of Ocean Energy, Saga University, and the Genesis, the company, the industry partner. Then this is in Port Dickson in Malaysia. We already have the building, of course, and then we have already installed our OTEC. Yeah? We are still waiting for the testing and commissioning to be conducted. Yeah, most probably next year. We hope to do the launching next year, testing by this year. All right. So this is just to touch base. And some policy, of course, the minister is here. From the Turks and Caicos. Sorry if I got it correct. So we have Sustainable Energy Development Authority in Malaysia, which actually looks at the renewable energy. What are the potential renewable energy and how can we, get our targets? We have set targets, 40% of RE share by 2035, but the sad part here is they did not include OTEC in the lineups of hydro, solar PV, biomass, and biogas. So our advocacy, or we are trying to promote and say that do include OTEC in the energy mix. So this goes same to the other islands, tropical islands and Central Africa, and other parts of the world too, similar. All right. So looking at the globe, the map. So Malaysia is a small country, Southeast Asia is highlighted here. And these are some of the sites, the potential sites with a depth of about approximately 1,000 meters, whereby we get that 5 degrees C there. Yeah, the shorter the pipe goes, the better. Commercial, financial or the cost will be lower. So we have to do a study, and that study is vital and crucial. I did hear from others that there is other studies going on in Central Africa and some parts. So it is very important. Yeah. So even in Malaysia, we have to start on so this study that UTM is doing is to highlight that it is several sites are there, potential sites, but we yet to embark on any specific feasibility study. Yeah? So having all the benefits or the profile and the temperature profile and salinity and so on, it is showing that it's profound to have a OTEC plant off the Sabah. And okay, when we have, if at all we have a closed cycle for 10 megawatt OTEC, and having the pipe length 800 meters down, and diameter of the pipe, HDPE pipes usually, so 5 meter, in the diameter. So, thinking or visualizing a floating type like this. So what is the net power that we can obtain from a 10 megawatt? Is about approximately 8.6 megawatt. So you may be thinking, where are the other, 1.4, right? So that is for the pumping itself, the pumping. In a closed cycle, usually we have 3 pumps. Usually, for easy understanding, is the intake of the surface seawater and the deep sea water and the circulation of the working fluid that we are using. So approximately it goes. So, but you can't really get this even for a power plant. Try to compare and see. Yeah. So that being said, this is to give you a feel of the flow rate. Such a huge flow rate. But we tap the water after going through the heat exchangers and the condensers, the evaporators and condensers. We can utilize it for any industries, spin-off industry, if necessary. If not, we will put it back in the same layer of water temperature. All right. So visualizing, if at all we have an offshore plant, OTEC plant, 10 megawatt or 100 megawatt, what do we want to do? Yeah, so this was taken from Lockheed Martin, recognizing them, about 15 years ago, maybe, I'm not so sure, but we yet to materialize or have a commercial OTEC plant. So we can produce green hydrogen or green ammonia, which can be used as fuel, right? Especially they're talking about that now. So the tankers will go and, and for logistic, sending anywhere it's needed. So this is the idea of an offshore. So in Malaysia, of course, oil and gas, Petronas, Shell, and many more are there. They are putting some renewable energy, into the perspective and to produce, green hydrogen. Yeah, so that's why we are proposing, why not include OTEC? Yeah. And why green hydrogen or hydrogen as a fuel? It's already in the demand. By 2040, this is, it will, grow drastically. So that's where, why not have OTEC to produce the fuels that's required, which is green, you see. So that's there. All right. I hope I'm within time. So from UTM, we always, want to advocate and promote quality education, and also, developing, grooming the, future generation, you see. So viable business model is required, through education, and also for sustainability of the OTEC itself, plant. And then, technology for education and talent development. And certainly, the minister is here. I did, hear him saying something about policy. So to sustain, of course, we need to, sit together and think of the policy that can be put forward. That all the, tropical islands, and also, nations in the tropics can utilize it as a benchmarking. So that is there. And then OTEC to engineer a better world, a better future for us. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Satyabama. So very good overview of OTEC projects worldwide and its multiple uses, so not limited to energy. We now move to our last speaker, so Nikhil Rajana, a business analytics master's student from Trinity College Dublin. Nikhil, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Anna. Hi, everyone. I'm Nikhil Rajana, a master's student from Trinity College Dublin. So we were first introduced to OTEC for our master's thesis, and we were a team of 3 who have worked on our thesis project, and none of us had backgrounds in OTEC. But when we started studying it, it got better and better, and the kind of impact that it could make had really changed the way we thought about how sustainable energy could really change the world. So I would like to thank all the organizers and Dan from Global OTEC for having me here. And unfortunately, my teammates are not here, so I'll try my best to represent our work in this presentation. So coming to our presentation, we have worked on envisioning how OTEC, if installed in a remote island of Colombia, which is San Andreas, how it could really change the the island's sustainable energy goals. So I would like to share the tool that we have developed as we worked on this project, and I hope my screen is now visible.
Yes, it's okay now.
Yeah, right. So firstly, there are different aspects that I would like to cover in our project. The first one being viability and sustainability, and then profitability. So let's look at how viable this technology is. So for OTEC to be viable, we have understood that the 2 fundamental requirements are the temperature difference. It has to be greater than 20 degrees centigrade between the top layers of the ocean and the bottom layers of the ocean. And the second fundamental requirement is that the depth of the ocean has to be greater than 1,000 meters. So if you look at visual number 1 and visual number 2, we can see that all the green dots here represent the areas where the temperature difference is greater than 20 degrees centigrade. So this map is a resolution of 1 degree resolution of all the lat longs, all the coordinates which have the temperature difference greater than 20 degrees centigrade. If you see that all the regions near the equator are most of them are feasible in terms of the temperature difference. Now, if you look at temperature, if you look at the visual number 2, the other fundamental requirement is that the depth of the ocean has to be greater than 1,000 meters. Except the coastal regions where we see the red dots, all the other regions, most of them are above 1,000 meters of depth. So we see that, there's tremendous potential for this OTEC to be installed, and people, especially from islands. I think there's a huge potential across all these islands for OTEC to be installed. And coming back to our study was focused on San Andreas, like I said earlier. So if you see visual number 3 and 4, we have tried to understand if these two fundamental requirements are being met near this island. So we have found that the temperature difference is, like above 20 degrees centigrade. This is the region that our focus is on, which is like where San Andreas is located. And we have found that the temperature gradient is like suitable enough for installation of this technology. And even we looked at the depth, and we tried to zoom down, like what's the depth, depth of ocean like near the San Andreas region. So all the green dots that you see here are like the feasible zones where this technology can be installed. So this is about the viability of this technology that we have done during our study. Now let's look at sustainability. Yeah, if you see here, the country-wise emissions of CO2 in gigatons is like, these are the top 5 countries in terms of CO2 emissions. And if you look at the global CO2 emissions trends in gigatons from 1970s, which was around 11.77 gigatons, now in 2020 we're around 42. That means we have, there's a 4-fold increase in the terms of CO2 emissions. This is increasing at an alarming rate, and this demands the need for sustainable energy resources. So that's where technologies like OTEC have a crucial role to play in order to move towards sustainable energy initiatives. So again, moving back to our focus area, which is like installation of OTEC in San Andreas. So we have understood what are the current energy sources that are being used in San Andreas, and understood that the primary sources of energy are from diesel, wind, and biomass. But when we install a 10 megawatt OTEC plant, this is how the energy distribution could change. We found that around 68%, around 69% of the energy could be replaced by OTEC if just one 10 megawatt plant is installed. So that's how, like, almost 69% of the diesel requirement can be cut down by just installing one OTEC plant in a tropical island. So this is like a huge reduction in terms of carbon reduction. And Colombia has also committed towards moving towards sustainable energy initiatives. But if you look at the renewable energy consumption trend, it has stagnated nearly around 30% on average. So after extensive research, what we have done is that we have kind of developed a small calculator, which kind of helps us estimate what could be the tangible benefits of installation of this technology. For example, let's say this is the tool that we have developed, and just let me show you a quick demo. So let's say if I want to install a 10 megawatt plant, and I just want to have just one plant. So this calculator kind of tells us what is the carbon reductions per year in tons, and what is a clean water that we could get, and what is a clean electricity that could be produced per year. For example, if I want to just install 5 megawatt plants, I just given the input, and this gives me an estimate of what could be my benefit in terms of the carbon reductions, the clean water, and the clean electricity. Our study was focused on sustainable energy goals of the UN, which are UN SDG 6 and SDG 7. So these are the benefits that we primarily focused on, which are clean water and clean electricity. And in addition to that, as you're seeing here, the carbon reductions that you're seeing here are like abatement, which let's say an OTEC plant is installed, by replacing a traditional oil-fired gas-fired plant. So what I mean to say is that the carbon reductions are calculated in terms of replacing a traditional oil gas-fired plant with an OTEC plant. That's how these carbon emissions are calculated. Now, moving on to profitability. So for any firm to invest in this technology, it's essential to understand what is the return on investment and what would the cash flow would look like, and what is the electricity cost for the common person. So this is another calculator that we have developed based on research. So we have 4 input parameters. They are interest rate, and what's the project lifetime, and what's the plant capacity and the number of plants. So let's assume that the interest rate is 8, and let's keep the project lifetime to be 30 years. And if I let's say I'm planning to use like 2 5-megawatt plants, so my initial investment would be around 93 million, and my operation expense per year would be around 5 million. So the total expense is around 98.5 million. And this is the cost of electricity for a common person. Like it is $0.2 per kilowatt hour. And if you see the in terms of the benefits again, we see that around 8 million could be produced from clean water, and we get a revenue of 13.76 million, and that's total of 22 million from installation of 2 5-megawatt plants for a project lifetime of 30 years. In the bottom, what you're seeing is a cumulative cash flow diagram. That means your initial year includes the investments, which is capital investment and operational investment. And thereafter, from the second year, it's just operational expense. So this is how the cumulative cash flow diagram is looking like. For example, let's say I'm investing this amount in this time, like in the first year. As I go to the 5th year, my returns will be like almost like breaking even, and from the 6th year I'll start to see a net profit. So this is how we have created a scenario using the input parameters for the potential uses of this technology. So for a firm to invest, this is how the figures would look like based on our calculations. This is all about our work, and I thank everyone for this opportunity.
Thank you, Nikhil. You gave
Yeah.
a very good perspective to this webinar. Now I will ask all speakers to please turn on their camera. So we are opening the floor for questions. It's interesting to see that there are many questions here in the Q&A box, also in the chat. We will try in these few minutes that we have to address some of them. Just a quick question to Nikhil while we wait that all turn the camera on. Nikhil, are your maps available for the public, openly
Yes.
available, so that we can zoom into places we are interested?
Sorry, I mean, this is developed as a like I've extracted the data from the official information, like official websites like GEPCO and NOAA, National Oceanographic Atmospheric Authority. Like these, the data was obtained from official authorities, but and it was processed and then visualized. So I don't think it's available for public, but I'm happy to share our work with anyone who's interested.
Okay, I think there are certainly people interested in the data you showed. There are also questions about the viability of OTEC. I don't know who would like to respond. For instance, about the sorry. Okay, about the size, what size is needed for OTEC plant to become viable? There is also always questions around this issue.
Can I go first?
Satyabama, please.
Yeah, yes, thank you, Anna. So the thing, I couldn't really read the questions. It's like going up and down. So I don't know who asked it from, however, what we always try to emphasize and promote is that to make OTEC viable, at least we must have 10 megawatt or greater. Yeah, having 1 megawatt, below than 10 megawatt is quite, you can't really sustainability, on the financial part is quite crucial and difficult, even though. And then one more thing is having the model and the business model with, I did see what Nikhil did put there, like water, your revenue stream. You did incorporate electricity and also water, I think, some revenue that you put there. So putting in more revenue streams, such as what is actually needed in the island is quite important. So for that, we must really have a collaboration with the people, the grassroots, what if at all is going to be some vegetables or some seaweed or some, seafood, or, what we specifically want to, tackle using the coal rich in nutrient, water. The cold water is rich in nutrient, right? We are aware of that. So that can be used for aquaculture, right? So yeah, so those type of model is important. So it may not be, copy and paste from one place to another. You must really, get the local feedback and local socioeconomic, study is important. But as a size itself, 10 megawatt or greater, will make OTEC viable. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. There is another question related with this one, which is about financing. And it comes from a participant from an island, Guam, in the Pacific Ocean. So Guam has excellent conditions for OTEC development to produce green hydrogen, and is asking where to look for planning and financing for such development that we know have higher capital costs.
Yeah, actually,
any
Paula.
suggestion?
Yeah, Paula is the one who really, highlighted on the bankability and so on. But why isn't she on?
Paula, can you turn your camera?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to turn on my camera, but the host doesn't allow me. But I think
Technical problem.
You can hear me.
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yes, about hydrogen. Yes, I think there are some other projects integrating another type of energy. Yes, as hydrogen, but there's a lot of factors that affect the feasibility of OTECs. Mainly the risk of the project. We know that hydrogen is also in a non-mature level. So combining those type of technology maybe can increase even more the risk of the project. But yes, there's a lot of learning to be applied in this type of project. So yes, we can also think about this type of project in the future. But I think the main challenge now is to make OTEC feasible.
Yeah, I would like to add a little bit there. I mean, hydrogen, the green hydrogen that I also emphasize and say is that OTEC, as the capex is huge, right? As we are already aware, so we need to have some premium, premium product, isn't it? So that brings, hydrogen into the place. What is the price of 1 kilogram of hydrogen as of now? Yeah, and where we should go in order to, make it more viable. So that's the idea, that we, have in place. And rather than putting, example I give you, in Malaysia, our tariff, there's a huge subsidy from the government. All right, we can't just, it's not, comparison. So what is the production price is important than the tariff itself. So I think many islands are also, many subsidy from the government is going in. But look at the production itself. And then, of course, diesel being used, we want to substitute diesel, you see. So when you have OTEC, we utilize that, energy or the electricity generated for the electrolysis, and then having green hydrogen production. Yeah? So now, just to share another thing is that in the world, they use solar. Yeah, solar as and because that's where it has to be for green hydrogen. It must be renewable energy, solar and wind, but yeah, for islands maybe OTEC is an option. All right, thank you.
completely agree, yes. And also it depends on the energy demand. It doesn't worth to make very intensive capital technologies together if the energy demand it's not sufficient to make it feasible.
Correct. Exactly. So demand for only island, or we are looking at the island exporting elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
So another the table or the graph that I showed, like in ASEAN itself, like by 2040, this much of demand is already there. But just to share with the others, like in Japan and in Korea, they are already, the demand is there, you see, for hydrogen, green hydrogen, yeah. So yeah, maybe bringing a hydrogen into the model might be a good idea. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think we have to come to a close. Just would like to mention that I saw in one presentation the international OES, Ocean Energy Systems Technology Collaboration Program within the International Energy Agency. And I would like to take this opportunity to mention that this international group brings countries from around the world and have multiple tasks. One of them is dedicated to promoting OTEC. So I encourage you also to visit the Ocean Energy Systems website, where there is much information interesting also about OTEC. So finally, I'd like to thank all participants, and especially to thank the speakers for their informative discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you to all our speakers. This session was truly enlightening. And before we conclude, I would just like to invite you all to our upcoming in-person event. The Global Sustainable Island Summit will be held from May 22nd to 23rd, and it will be organized by Island Innovation and co-hosted by the government of Prince Edward Island in Canada. You can already buy your early bird ticket through the link that I am sharing on the chat right now, and I hope to see you all there. If you have any feedback for us on your experience with the Virtual Island Summit, I'll be also sharing the link to our feedback survey on the chat right now. So please feel free to tell us about your experience and how we can make the Virtual Island Summit even better. Thank you very much, everyone, and I hope to see you in the next session.
Thank you.